afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2017 Hopkins Raspberry Festival Senior Day. I am the 2005-2006 Hopkins Raspberry Festival Queen, Aubrey Neuville-Yunker, and it is my pleasure to MC this part of the day for you today. We hope that you enjoyed the Wellness Fair and are excited to meet our new senior royalty as the festivities kick off with our senior coronation. We want to begin by thanking the American Legion, staff of the Hopkins Activity Center, the Hopkins Raspberry Festival volunteers, and all of our past senior royalty for all the hard work that went into making this day happy. The past senior royalty did an amazing job gathering prizes and helping set up this space. It is so wonderful to have you all back and helping participate in this annual event. We appreciate all of you so very much. Another thank you goes out to our royalty candidates for their help here today. Candidates, will you please stand and show us that raspberry wave you've been working on? This afternoon, we say goodbye to our reigning senior king and queen, Ray and Maggie Novak, and thank them for the amazing job that they did representing the city of Hopkins and for being such a positive influence on the entire royal family. First, let's learn a little bit about these two great representatives of the festival, starting with our senior king, Ray Novak. Senior King Ray is escorted this afternoon by Junior Princess Hayden Ford. Senior King Ray was born and raised in Northeast Minneapolis and attended Edison High School. He is a Navy veteran of the Korean War and is now in the Veteran Connections group here at the Hopkins Activity Center. 61 years ago, he married a pretty blonde girl from Hopkins, and they had 2 girls and a boy who all graduated from Hopkins. Senior King Ray's hobbies include skiing, golfing, traveling, and playing cards. His connection to the Hopkins Raspberry Festival stems from years ago when he was a JC and drove the Queen up to Glenwood Waterama Days in their convertible, and they were excited to transport her in it. At the time, he and his wife Maggie were so excited to ride up there with the top down, but their bubble was quickly burst when they picked up the Queen, and she informed them that her hairdo would never survive with the top down. Senior King Ray's favorite raspberry events were the Raspberry Parade, fireworks, and meeting people at the parades. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016-2017 Hopkins Raspberry Festival King, Senior King Ray Novak. Next, we will welcome our Senior Queen, Maggie Novak. Senior Queen Maggie is escorted this afternoon by Junior Queen Catherine LeGrand. Senior Queen Maggie grew up in Hopkins and graduated from Hopkins High School. She still gets together with her high school friends and has worked on most of their class reunions. As long as she can remember, each year her family had a party following the Raspberry Parade, and it was the biggest event at their house. As a child, Senior Queen Maggie marched in the Raspberry Parade and had a job picking raspberries and strawberries, just like all the kids in Hopkins did. She also worked at the Minneapolis Moline and the Red Owl and retired from Honeywell. Her hobbies include golfing, traveling, entertaining, cooking, and doing volunteer work at her church, Immaculate Heart of Mary. Senior Queen Maggie grew up 1 block from City Hall, and you can find her and Senior King Ray living 1 block away today. She says Hopkins truly is her history. Senior Queen Maggie's highlight from being part of the Raspberry Royal family this year includes all the people that she met along the parade route, representing the festival at special events such as Senior Day at the Activity Center, the Hopkins Fire Department Open House, and local school events, and of course, becoming friends with the Raspberry Royal family. Most of all, she enjoyed all the little children along the parade routes and says that that was the best. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016-2017 Hopkins Raspberry Festival Senior Queen, Maggie Novak. Before we begin our goodbyes this afternoon, there are some people in the audience I would like to introduce. I will start with our visiting royalty. Please stand when I say your festival or celebration's name. Minneapolis Aquatennial. We have the Aquatennial Senior Royalty, which includes our very own past senior Queen, Teresa Sidness. Thank you for, you guys can stand up. Thank you for coming and visiting us as you gear up for your own celebration. And then we also have their neighbors joining us, the St. Paul Winter Carnival Senior Royalty. So go ahead and stand up, Roy. Thank you as well for traveling to celebrate with us today. Next, I will introduce the past senior royalty that we have here today. Please stand as I call your name and give a raspberry wave. We are blessed to have so many of you here today. Let's hold our applause till the end. Okay, starting with the 1993-1994 Senior Queen Dorothy Pavelka. 1996-1997 Senior King Vernon Isaac. 2001-2002 Lorraine Beversdorf. 2002-2003 Jane Whipple. 2003-2004 Annette Marie Paschel. 2004-2005 Carol-Ann Carlson. 2005-2006 Joan DeCosse. 2006-2007 Marilyn Johnson. 2008-2009 Dorothy Mord. 2009-2010 Joan Markham. 2010-2011 Alan Johnson. 2011-2012 Trudy Reinitz. 2012-2013 Mary Jo Molesky. 2013-2014 Douglas Doogie Durland. 2013-2014 Teresa Sidness. 2015-2016 Ron Helgeson. And 2015-2016 Diane Helgeson. Thank you again to all of our past senior royalty for everything you did to prepare for this wonderful day. Your help is invaluable. Finally, I would like to recognize our Grand Marshals, Bill and Dan Schumacher from Schumacher Chiropractic. They celebrated their 30th year of business this year. Please stand and wave, and thank you for joining us. As we get closer to meeting our 2017-2018 senior royalty, we need to say farewell to our senior king and queen, Ray and Maggie. To start our goodbyes, we will now hear from our reigning junior royalty, Junior Queen Catherine and Junior Princess Hayden. Please come up and join me at the podium. First up, we have Princess Hayden Ford.
Senior King Ray and Senior Queen Maggie, you are both so caring and thoughtful. I enjoy spending time with you, and it made me happy that you would always take time to talk to me. When it was really cold outside, you brought hot sandwiches and coffee to warm everyone up. You were the nicest friends, and I love you both so much. You will always have a special place in my heart.
And now our junior queen, Kathleen the Grand.
To my senior queen, Maggie, you were always polite and friendly, and sometimes when we were in a parade, you would say, "Sorry, we don't have any candy," to the kids in the crowd. I remember when we carpooled, you would sometimes comment how Hopkins has changed through the years. My grandparents live in France, so you have been like my grandmother for the year. I will miss you. To my senior king, Ray, I had so much fun playing the horse race game at the New Year's Eve party where you won first place and Junior Princess Hayden and I tied for second. You were always so helpful and patient. You have been like a grandfather to me because my grandparents live in France.
Thank you, Junior Royalty, for sharing with us the great memories you made with Senior King Ray and Senior Queen Maggie. Next, we will hear from our royalty, Princess Caitlin, Princess Sophrona, and Queen Jezebel. Princess Caitlin Throne, it is time for your farewells.
Senior King Ray and Senior Queen Maggie, getting to know you over the last year has been such an honor. The both of you have added a special piece to our royal family that other festivals just don't have. And boy, are they missing out. You are both sweet, genuine, and kind-hearted individuals, always offering a hug upon greeting or departing each event. Senior King Ray, I remember you being such a good sport at the Anoka Halloween Parade when we dressed up as Disney villains. I may not have convinced you to wear the giant, curly Captain Hook wig, but you slapped on a furry mustache and even sported an alligator plush toy to complete the look. Thanks for having such a great attitude, and don't worry, you were definitely right when choosing chocolates instead of the card that Maggie suggested you write for borrowing you the costume. They were delicious. Senior Queen Maggie, I loved our little chats on parade lineups. You were always so thoughtful to ask how each of us was doing and what we'd been up to since the last time we met. Even if my answers were sometimes less than exciting, you always seemed interested. You always, without fault, had that concern for me as well, as I wobbled on my heels past your bench on the float to the teeter-totter. A quick, I've got it, was all you needed to ease your worry. Your stories were always entertaining too, especially the time you told us about your wedding and how you proved your family wrong about the two of you lasting. They definitely had it wrong. This very day last year, I had the honor as a candidate to serve your table and help assist with all the fun games planned. I remember being so happy for the two of you as you took on the first day as Raspberry Festival Royals. I had hoped in my heart that I'd get the honor of being part of your family, and now that I have had the opportunity, I can only say thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to be part of your lives. You have both done an amazing job representing Hopkins.
And now let's hear from Princess Sophrona Lavasser.
Hi, you guys. I'm a little bit taller. Okay, yeah, that's good. All right, as a candidate, we helped serve this coronation a year ago, just like the candidates are tonight. We were running around talking to all the participants, and I stopped to talk to Senior King Ray and Senior Queen Maggie, without even noticing that they were the incoming senior royalty. As always, they were so pleasant and so much fun to talk to. They're always going out of their way to say something nice. And I was so excited for the three royalty and the junior royalty too, that we're going to get to spend their year with them after they've been crowned. The fireworks in Central Park was the first time that I got to talk to Senior Queen Maggie, and she's always so energetic, which is definitely a good thing with her family this year. At the fire station open house, Senior King Ray pointed out exactly where they lived when we were way up high, and told us that Senior Queen Maggie usually baked pies for their guests, so I'm definitely going to be stopping by sometime. On the float, she and Senior King Ray were the ones to keep Junior Princess Hayden up to date with the times, and always told people to come check out Hopkins from their bench and thanked people for coming. It was such a privilege and so much fun to spend the last year with you both, and maybe I'll stop in for a pie someday soon.
And finally, Queen Jezebel Flores.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to try not to cry. Senior King Ray and Senior Queen Maggie, my lovely senior royalty, you definitely completed our royal family. Sorry. Without you two this year wouldn't have been the same. I remember last year you told us the lovely story of how you met. The couple has been together for over 60 years, which is something any couple should strive for. Both of you have such poise and class, and even through those hot summer parades. Growing up, I never had that grandma or grandpa relationship all my friends talked about. Before I was 2, my grandparents from both sides of my family had passed away. When I became queen, I secretly adopted you guys as my grandparents right away. I was ecstatic to fill a missing part of my family with you too. Senior Queen Maggie, you're always so kind-hearted and give the best hugs. You always make me feel pretty warm inside. Senior King Ray, you are Maggie's other half, her knight in shining armor. We had great conversations, and you always took an interest in whatever was currently going on in my life. Thank you to both of you for being my senior royalty. Thank you.
Thank you, Princess Caitlin, Princess Sophrona, and Queen Jezebel. I can tell that these two will always hold a special place in your hearts. And now we have a few parting words from our Senior King Ray and Senior Queen Maggie. Let's begin with Senior King Ray.
I have to get my glasses here. Okay. Hello everyone, I'm Ray Novak, Hopkins Raspberry Festival Senior King. It's been a wonderful experience to have been with the new people around the state and telling about Hopkins at our festivals. Senior Queen Maggie is my glue that holds me together, so I credit her for half of the stuff that I do. From senior coronation to the last parade in Wilmer, the memories are too many to mention. The royal family is the best in the world, helping us and the juniors to be comfortable and enjoy the times at the parades. Our Queen Jezebel is wonderful to be around. She is outgoing, always smiling, and always makes me feel very comfortable. I wish her the best for the Aquatennial. I hope she goes on to the Aquatennial, and all her things she's pursuing in her life. Thank you. Princess Caitlin has made me feel so wonderful and comfortable and so much fun to be around. Did I mention her generosity? When we were deciding on the costume for the Aquatennial parade, she was right there suggesting I go as Captain Hook and supplying me with a costume, so it was a wonderful thing. Princess Sophia, has been a cheerleader on the float and telling us when to wave and when to smile. She was always moving with the music. Thank you. Junior Queen Catherine, always looked her best and very quiet, but she's sure powerful. She set up the chairs for the crown dinner, putting us adults to shame. She was so shy at the beginning, and she blossomed into a lovely flower. Junior Princess Hayden, with a $1 million personality, will certainly be a future Raspberry Queen or a possible Miss America. Everywhere we went, she seemed to make friends and had so much fun at the parades. Thank you. The royal family and friends made everything always taken care of and treating us like friends. I will treasure the moments, the wonderful years of 2016-2017 Hopkins Raspberry King Senior King. Thanks for the memories. All right. Okay.
And now we will hear from our senior queen, Maggie Novak.
Hi, I'm Maggie, the other half of the Novak team. Senior King, a caring, giving, supportive person who has been my better half for over 61 years. Amazing, wonderful, terrific. That's not right, this is something else. That pretty much sums up what this year has been for me. Gosh, it flew by in a flash. Here it is time to crown the new senior royalty. This year has widened my circle of friends by leaps and bounds. The parades, the dinners, meeting new people, but most of all, getting to know the Raspberry family. I wouldn't trade that for the world. Queen Jezebel, our darling queen. Her big smile could melt anybody's heart. Did you know she has a little fear of heights? We rode in the fire truck, the great big bucket, about 5 or 6 stories high. As she hung on to me for dear life, giggling but thrilled when we reached the ground. Queen Jez will go far with her winning personality. Our best wishes go with her at the Minneapolis Aquatennial. Thank you, Jez. Princess Sephora was our coach, our entertainer, always laughing. She could be heard singing to the sound of the music on the float. Her bubbly personality will take her far and wide. Princess Caitlin, quiet, but the sweetest, most thoughtful, giving person you will ever meet. Just ask her friends who surround her. They're like little mother hens. One even delayed her honeymoon to be there for a parade with Caitlin in it. Princess Caitlin rode on top of the fire truck at the St. Patty's Day parade. It was cold and windy. She was brave. Junior Queen Catherine, who also was a quiet, reserved little beauty. As the year progressed, so did her personality. Out popped this young lady with the cutest little giggle and fun-loving personality. Her passion is reading. During the year, she had her hair cut and donated it for people needing wigs due to their illnesses, proving what a caring little lady she is. Junior Princess Hayden, a young lady with an enormous personality. She will set the world on fire if this year is any indication. She seemed to know half the people at the Hopkins Raspberry Parade. She is definitely a leader, and those dimples and that smile says it all. Look out, world, here she comes. I would like to thank the entire Raspberry Festival, especially Aubrey, Taylor, Charlie. Your kindness was deeply appreciated. A special gratitude goes out to the LeGrand family. Junior Queen Catherine's parents for chauffeuring us around. I really appreciated that. I will forever cherish my year at the 2016-17 Senior Queen of the Hopkins Raspberry Festival. It's been a dream come true. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016-2017 Senior King Ray Novak and Senior Queen Maggie Novak. Can you stand for one more wave for us as Maggie's wiping her tears, sorry. Thanks for a great year. Okay, and now is the time when we crown our new ambassadors. The 2017-2018 Senior King and Senior Queen of the Hopkins Raspberry Festival. Our 2017-2018 Senior King was born near Detroit, Michigan, and lived on an island called Brazil. I had to check the pronunciation of that one. Until his family moved to Minnesota in 1960. He graduated from Hopkins High School in 1963. He later married the love of his life, a native of Hopkins and the older sister of our new senior queen. His late wife never missed a raspberry parade. Together, they enjoyed watching all of the fire trucks going by, especially when her dad was a member of the Hopkins Fire Department. They would ride by on the rescue truck. They had a son and a daughter and 3 grandkids, ages 15, 13, and 6. Our new senior king enjoys going to as many of their activities as he can, which includes marching band, drumline, hockey, and soccer. In his free time, he also enjoys fishing, golfing, and working in his yard. Before he retired, he worked as a programmer and analysis in and around Minneapolis. So hold that thought if you're wondering who it is, because we're going to move on to describing our new senior queen. Our 2017-2018 senior queen was born and raised in Hopkins, as were her parents and grandparents. In fact, her great-great-grandfather was Harley H. Hopkins, and the town was named after him. In her volunteer work at the Historical Society, she is dedicated to working on the Harley Hopkins display for the new building. Our senior queen still considers Hopkins her hometown, even though she now lives in Minnetonka. She went through grade school in Minnetonka and graduated from Hopkins High School in 1970. She still belongs to her childhood church, Mitzvah United Church of Christ, where she is busy as a volunteer and a lay leader. Our new senior king and queen both volunteer at St. Gabriel's cooking for loaves and fishes. This wonderful lady is also a volunteer with the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum and knits and stitches for their annual sales. She loves her water aerobics at the Williston Health Center as well. Our new senior queen grew up in the Park and Recreations program here in Hopkins and looked forward to making floats and being in the kiddie parade when she was a kid. That was my favorite part, too. She worked at the old Hopkins Theater during high school and still remains good friends with the kids she worked with. They were able to watch many of the parades from the marquee of the old theater. She grew up on 11th Avenue and continues the annual parade and picnic tradition that her mother started. Years ago, her family formed the Precision Waving Team and always looked forward to wearing their tiaras, waving, and talking to people in the Raspberry Parade. She has two children of her own, 2 kids of her own, and 2 bonus daughters, and 6 grandchildren. She is excited to serve with her best buddy and brother-in-law with her husband's wishes. She thanks our new senior king for taking on this role with her. Our new senior queen knows that her sister Jan is smiling down on them right now as they embark on this incredible journey. I'm truly honored to introduce to you our 2017-2018 Hopkins Raspberry Festival Senior King, Jay Griziani, and Senior Queen, Deb Renfro. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017-2018 Hopkins Raspberry Festival Senior King, Jay Griziani, and Senior Queen, Deb Renfro. As we wrap up this started the day, I want to thank the Hopkins Activity Center, the Hopkins Raspberry Festival, and the Hopkins American Legion for making this day possible for our seniors. Thank you to all of the staff and volunteers of all the organizations for the work they put in. Most of all, I would like to thank our senior king and queen, Ray and Maggie, for the great representation of the festival they had this year. In order to continue on with bingo today, we will be moving Senior King Jay and Senior Queen Deb into the lounge for people to greet them there. Bingo will still be being played, but don't worry. You can take turns at your table, have your neighbor play for you for a little bit while you go welcome our new senior royalty. Thank you all for coming and participating in this celebration. Please join us at some of the other festival events, such as our Junior Coronation on Tuesday at the Minnetonka Community Center, the Royalty Coronation on Thursday at the Hopkins Center for the Arts, the Marketplace Arts and Craft Fair, and Family Days with fireworks on Saturday, and of course, the parade on Sunday. Hope to see you at many of our other events. Have a great rest of the afternoon.